Look under your kitchen sink right now. Go ahead and count the bottles, the neon blue liquids, the thick green gels, and the scented sprays. If you are the average consumer, you are paying a $320 tax every single year just to keep your house clean. I call it the laundering tax. It is a tax paid in colorful plastic and manufactured ignorance. Because right now, tucked away in a dusty corner of the grocery store, sits a simple $4 box of borax. This mineral has been doing the job of 37 different chemicals for over 140 years. The Amish know it. They have used this natural cleaning solution to build some of the cleanest communities on Earth. While the rest of us were sold an expensive, toxic version of the truth, they kept the secret. But here is the question that should keep you up tonight. If one mineral can replace an entire aisle of products, why did the industry spend millions trying to convince you it was dangerous? It all traces back to a quiet, strategic decision made in 1988, a decision that changed what you were allowed to know about the products in your own home. By the time we are done, you will know exactly why your grandmother's favorite cleaner suddenly became the industry's biggest secret. But to understand the cover-up, you have to look at your favorite white t-shirt, the one that used to be bright, but now looks a little yellow, a little gray, and a little tired. You probably blame the detergent or the age of the fabric, but the real culprit is actually coming out of your faucet, and it is the first thing that $4 box is going to fix. Most of us are washing our clothes in a liquid that is working against us. It is called hard water. It is packed with invisible minerals like calcium and magnesium. Think of these minerals as tiny magnets for filth. Instead of carrying the grime away, your water is actually locking it into the fibers. The giant chemical companies know this secret better than anyone, but they do not want to sell you a simple fix for your water. They want to sell you optical brighteners. They want to sell you heavy synthetic fragrances. It is a brilliant and expensive trick of the senses. Those brighteners are just chemicals that coat your clothes to reflect light. They make the fabric look whiter even when the dirt is still trapped inside. They use synthetic perfumes to make it smell clean. But underneath that fake mountain breeze, the grime is still there. Your clothes are not clean, they are just disguised. This is where that $4 box of sodium borate changes everything. If you look at these crystals under a microscope, they look like crushed diamonds. But borax is not actually a soap. Scientists call it a booster. When you add half a cup to your laundry, it goes to work on the water itself. It neutralizes those minerals, softening the water so your soap can finally breathe. But the real magic is the chemistry of the pH scale. Borax naturally raises the pH of your wash water to exactly 9.1. This is the scientific sweet spot for cleaning. At that specific level, the chemical bond between the grease on your collar and the cotton of your shirt just snaps. It is a mechanical reality. No fancy enzymes, no toxic dyes, just basic, honest chemistry. So, if it is this effective and this cheap, why did the industry spend 30 years making you afraid of it? To understand that, we have to look back at how your grandmother actually cleaned her home. Imagine a kitchen in 1950. There was no cleaning aisle, just a simple pantry. A single shelf held vinegar, baking soda, and that green and white box of borax. Back then, people did not buy pre-made solutions. They bought ingredients. They were chemists in aprons. They knew exactly how to strip grease or whiten sheets without a single synthetic enzyme. But then, the world shifted, and the convenience empire was born. The corporations realized something that would change your grocery bill forever. They realized that if you knew the secret of the $4 box, you would never buy their 37 different bottles again. That is when the campaign to erase this knowledge began. They had to turn a household staple into a mystery. And they started by making sure you forgot the 15 ways this one box can run your entire home. Knowledge was the enemy of profit. For decades, the cleaning industry did not just sell soap. They sold a new identity. They needed to frame the old ways as drudgery. They made the pantry look like a place for the uneducated, the backwards, and the poor. The message was loud and clear. You are too busy to be a chemist. Trust the lab, trust the brand, trust the plastic. Slowly, the recipes were lost. The handwritten notes in the back of old cookbooks were tossed in the trash. That wisdom did not die of old age. It was evicted. By the 1980s, the transition was almost complete. We became a generation of bottle flippers. We stopped looking at the ingredients and started looking at the logos. But the industry still had one major problem. The $4 box of Borax was still there. It was sitting on the bottom shelf, costing almost nothing. To protect the billions in revenue, they needed a final nail in the coffin. They needed a way to make sure that even if you found an old box of Borax, you would be too afraid to use it. This brings us to the quiet, closed-door decision of 1988. 1988 was not the year Borax became dangerous. It was the year it became a threat. You see, you cannot patent a mineral that comes out of the ground. You cannot own the desert. If every household in America just used a $4 box of sodium borate, there was no way for a corporation to monopolize your laundry room. So the boardrooms fought back. The FTC reached a settlement that changed everything. They did not ban the mineral. They did something much more clever. They restricted how it could be talked about. They made it nearly impossible to market it as anything other than a simple laundry additive. Suddenly, that familiar green and white box started carrying heavy warning labels. At the exact same time, the industry launched a blitz of new liquid detergents. They were bright, they were blue, and they came in thick plastic bottles. They were selling you convenience while burying the truth. But the Amish never got the memo. They kept using this natural cleaning solution for everything from the kitchen floor to the garden path. They kept the list of 15 uses alive, while the rest of the world forgot. Once you see these hidden uses, you will realize just how much that 1988 decision has cost you. Let's start with the one thing every homeowner dreads, and the industry charges $20 to fix. Why have you never seen a Super Bowl commercial for Borax? It is not because the product is weak, it is because the profit margin is too small. In 1988, the cleaning industry faced a crossroads. They could either sell you a $4 mineral that lasts 6 months, or they could sell you a lifestyle. They chose the lifestyle. That year, a series of regulatory shifts and legal settlements changed the labels on your cleaning supplies. The industry began a massive campaign to rebrand natural minerals as harsh or outdated. They wanted you to look at that simple green and white box with suspicion. At the same time, companies like P&G and Unilever launched a blitz of neon blue liquids. These were not just soaps, they were proprietary formulas protected by patents. This was the birth of the plastic tax. When you walk down the cleaning aisle today, you are not just buying soap. You are paying for the heavy plastic jug, the synthetic fragrance, and the cost of shipping water across the country. The industry realized that if you knew how to be a chemist, you would never be a customer. So they buried the wisdom of the past under 37 different specialized bottles. One for the hardwood, one for the tile, and one for the heavy-duty stains. It is a brilliant financial trap. By making you forget that one mineral can do it all, they turned a $4 annual expense into a $320 subscription. They did not just change your laundry routine, they hijacked your bank account. But the Amish never fell for the rebranding. They ignored the marketing blitz and kept the old recipes alive. And when you see what this one mineral can do to the toughest problems in your home, you will realize why the industry fought so hard to make you forget it. Let's start with the one thing that ruins more clothes than anything else, and how the industry charges you $20 to fix what Borax does for pennies. Look under your sink right now. Count the bottles. The average household has 37 of them. One for the windows, one for the floor, one for the delicate fabrics. The industry did not create 37 products because your house is complicated. They created them because a single box of minerals is a profit killer. This is the plastic tax in action. You are not paying for cleaning power. You are paying for the water inside the jug. Most liquid cleaners are 90% water. You are paying for the heavy plastic, the bright label, and the fuel to ship that water across the country. It is a brilliant way to sell you a 5-cent solution for $10. It is a subscription to a mess you already have the tools to fix. The Amish refused to pay this tax. They kept the box of borax and developed a protocol that makes chemical CEOs sweat. It starts in the laundry room. They do not buy color-safe boosters or stain lifters. They simply add half a cup of borax to every load. There is a scientific reason this works. Borax is naturally alkaline. It raises the pH level of your water, softening it instantly. This allows the soap to actually penetrate the fibers instead of just sliding over them. If you have yellowed pillows or sweat-stained shirts, forget the bleach. The Amish use what they call a whitewash soak. It is a simple recipe: 2 parts borax, 2 parts washing soda, and 1 part grated bar soap. Soak the fabric overnight. By morning, the oxidation is gone. The fabric is not just clean, it is restored to its original state. But the wisdom does not stop at the washing machine. Take a walk into the kitchen. If you see ants marching across your counter, do not reach for the toxic spray. The industry wants you to pay $15 for a can of poison that lingers in your air. The Amish protocol is different. They mix equal parts borax and white sugar. The sugar is the bait, the borax is the end. The ants carry it back to the colony, and the problem is often solved for about 5 cents. It works on cockroaches too. A light dusting behind the fridge creates a barrier. It is not a chemical poison. It acts as a mechanical dehydrator. It is an old-world solution to a modern-day nuisance. But as effective as it is in the kitchen, its most controversial use is found in the garden. This is where the line between a cleaner and a protector begins to blur. The industry sells you a lavender-scented mask. The Amish use what they call the odor assassin. If your trash can smells like a landfill, sprinkle 2 tablespoons of the powder at the bottom. It does not hide the smell. It neutralizes the acidic gases that cause the odor in the first place. Try it with stinky gym shoes overnight, and the smell is simply gone. Now, look at your windows. The blue spray you buy is 95% water and 5% ammonia. It leaves streaks and attracts dust. The Amish secret is 2 tablespoons of borax in 3 cups of warm water. It creates a microscopic barrier that actually repels dust. Your glass stays cleaner longer for less than a penny. But it gets even more serious. The Amish do not pay thousands of dollars for termite inspectors. They treat the wood when the barn is built. This is not folklore. It is documented science. The USDA report, FPL RP 655, confirms that boron compounds are a nightmare for wood-boring insects. The insects simply cannot digest it. If you have a damp crawl space, a heavy spray of borax dissolved in water acts as a termite shield. It soaks into the grain and stays there for decades. It also kills mold and mildew on contact. Scrub your bathroom tile with a borax paste, and the black spots do not just disappear, they do not come back. The mineral changes the environment so the fungus cannot breathe. Wait until you see how it handles the rest of the house. A tablespoon in the dishwasher prevents hard water spots on your glasses. Sprinkle it on your carpet to kill flea eggs that a vacuum misses. In the toilet, half a cup left overnight dissolves the ring without a brush. It removes rust from old tools and dissolves the sticky adhesive left by price tags. It even sanitizes a mattress if you let it sit for 30 minutes before vacuuming. 15 uses, 1 box, $4. But if this powder is strong enough to preserve a barn for 50 years, is it safe? The back of the box is covered in warning labels for a reason. It is a powerful mineral. You would not eat a bowl of table salt, and you should not ingest this either. However, there is a measurement in science called LD50. It measures how toxic a substance is to the body. The data shows that sodium borate has a toxicity rating almost identical to common table salt. If you swallowed a pound of salt, it would be a medical emergency. The same applies here. We treat salt with respect, but we do not treat it with fear. The industry has spent millions making sure you view this $4 box as a biohazard. Why would they want you to be afraid of a mineral that is as safe as salt? Because there is a 16th use, one that moves from the laundry room into the human body. This was the real reason for the FTC settlement in 1988. If you thought the cleaning industry was hiding something, wait until you see what the medical world has been keeping quiet. To be clear, this is not accepted medical consensus, and modern medical guidance does not recommend ingesting household borax products. While you worry about the warning label on a natural mineral, look at the ingredients in your favorite blue detergent. Many of those liquid cleaners contain a hidden chemical called 1,4-dioxane. The EPA has flagged it as a probable human carcinogen. It is a byproduct of the manufacturing process, so it often doesn't even appear on the label. Then you have the phthalates used to create those spring-fresh scents. Many researchers classify these as endocrine disruptors that can interfere with your hormones. You are wearing these chemicals on your t-shirts. You are sleeping on them in your bed sheets. They are absorbed through your skin every single hour of the day. So we have to ask a very uncomfortable question. Is the industry protecting your safety, or are they protecting their market share? The 1988 FTC settlement wasn't just about a label. It was about control. It was about making sure you viewed borax as a laundry additive and nothing more. They wanted to keep the conversation in the laundry room, tucked away and forgotten. Because if the public started asking what else boron could do, a multi-billion-dollar industry would have a problem. The Amish understand this mineral on a level that modern medicine is only now beginning to acknowledge. This brings us to the 16th use. This use moves from the laundry room and into the very structure of your body. It involves the element boron and its relationship to human health. Some researchers have investigated its role in supporting bone density and joint function. In regions where boron levels in the soil are naturally high, some studies suggest that instances of arthritis are remarkably low. One theory argues that our modern diet is simply deficient in this trace element. But you won't find this information on the box at the grocery store. You won't hear about it in a commercial for a new prescription drug. You cannot patent a mineral that has been in the earth since the beginning of time. If it can't be patented, it can't be controlled for profit. They want to keep the laundry room and the medicine cabinet separate. Because if you realize that one simple mineral can solve problems in both, their empire of plastic and pills starts to look very fragile. You are standing at a crossroads in the middle of a supermarket aisle. On one side are 37 different bottles of neon-colored liquid. Each one promises a miracle for $20 a bottle. On the other side is a single, dusty $4 box. One represents a cycle of endless consumption. The other represents a legacy of self-reliance. But before you reach for that box, there is one final secret the industry is desperate to keep quiet. It isn't about what is inside the box. It is about what happens to your body when you finally stop using their chemicals. The physical transformation is something they never expected you to discover. The industry wants you to see that $4 box as a relic, something for the history books or your grandmother's attic. But now, you know better. They aren't just selling you soap. They are selling you a dependency. They want you to believe your home is a battlefield that only their patented chemicals can win. But the Amish and your own ancestors knew a different truth. You don't need a corporate laboratory to have a clean home. You need a mineral. This isn't just about saving $320 a year, though your bank account will certainly notice the change. It is about reclaiming the wisdom that was systematically erased in 1988. It is about looking at those warning labels and realizing something profound. The real danger is often the ingredients they aren't required to tell you about, the toxins hidden behind the simple word fragrance. Next time you walk through those sliding glass doors, look past the marketing. Ignore the neon plastic and the artificial scents. Find that white and green box on the bottom shelf. Pick it up. Because once you hold it, you are no longer just a consumer. You are someone who remembers. As you walk away, take one last look at those rows of colorful bottles. For the first time, you will see them for what they really are, the bars of a golden cage. But the cleaning aisle isn't the only place where the truth has been rewritten for profit. There is another lie sitting right inside your refrigerator. It is printed in tiny ink on your milk and your eggs. It is called the expiration date, and it is costing the average family thousands of dollars in wasted food. We are peeling back the label on the expiration date scam right now.